Hey guys, welcome to JazzedTutorials. This week's video is Demi Lovato inspired. It was a challenge, but it was worth it. So if you don't know who Demi Lovato is, you're living under a rock and you must go research her right now. So pause this video, look her up on iTunes. She is amazing and an inspiration to all of us Lovatics. So, if you're a Lovatic and you're watching this, welcome! I love you. Okay, so her Single Neon Lights, I love the album artwork. It was amazing. I love how it was mysterious and dark and awesome. So I thought, let's see if we can make that replicated in Photoshop. And it's possible, but it was quite a challenge. It looks easy to make, but it's kind of not really. But for you at home watching this, it will be easy for you. But for me, taking it apart piece by piece, layer by layer, not so much. But I thought, hey, you know, why not? So I'm going to show you how to recreate a similar album cover. It's not the exact same thing, but it's close to it, or as close as I could get it. So let's go ahead. So as you'll notice, my background is a very dark blue. So you're going to want to grab a dark blue color. Let's see if I can match this. This is the color I chose. You want to choose something similar to this. You don't have to use the exact number I chose, but a color close to that will work best. But you can also feel free to use mine if you like. Alright, once you have your blue background, dark blue background, you're going to then want to make a new layer above that. And it's going to have to be a brush layer. So grab a soft round brush of quite large size, and as you'll notice, I made a black dot. So grab a soft round brush of quite large size. I believe I used 300 pixels, but you can use any size you'd like depending upon your canvas. My canvas, I believe, is 640 by something, the standard 641. Any hooser. So if you use that size of document, I would say 300 pixels for your brush is needed. And a black dot, so you kind of get a vignette sort of thing going. Okay, once you got your black dot placed in the dead center, make another new layer above that, and this one needs to be a purple dot. So grab a purple color of your choice. Believe I chose this color here, or a color similar to that. Any bright purple and neon color is fine for this, but by all means, if you want to use your own purple color hue, that's fine with me, but I'm just showing you what I've chosen for mine. Okay, once you have that done, now this, by the way, is also a soft round brush, and this one is a smaller, yet almost similar size to what we just used for the black dot. I think I used 250 px for this one, or pixels rather, for this one, but you could use any size depending upon your canvas, like I said previously. Alright, and once you've got that, we're going to make another new layer above that, and in case you're curious what we're doing, we're setting up the background of our album artwork. But I'm pretty sure you noticed that by now. Okay. Next, we're going to add another soft round brush dot, and this one needs to be a kind of light blue / dark blue color. And this is also a soft round brush, and this one needs to be smaller than the one you just made. Basically, we're kind of, you could use a gradient radial layer, but I tried that, and it didn't really give you the look and feel that we wanted, so that's why we're doing it layer by layer. I just think it really brings out what we want to have for an outcome better than if you use a gradient tool. So that's why we're not using gradients in this one, because it's just not going to give you the effect we're looking for. So I grabbed a soft round brush, like I said before. I think I used a 150 px. Actually, I think it's 174 I used. Yeah, 174. Maybe, yeah. And I chose this purplish bluish color here. It's more blue than purple, I think. Yeah, way more blue. And I placed it right in the dead center. And there we have it. Then I went and made another layer. Geez, how many more layers are we doing, guys? A lot. So I made another layer above that. In this one, I chose a semi-bright purple / white color, more of a pastel purple, I guess you could say. And I placed it kind of at the bottom. It wasn't really much so a dot than it was more of a straight line, but nonetheless, it was a soft round brush motion at the bottom. And I did that to contrast the brightness you see in the back. If you notice in the back of her actual album cover, there's like a brightness coming through. That's where this comes in. So this is the color I chose, but you can use any pastel purple hue you like. Anything from this section here is fine. And then just make a dot or a line just right at the bottom of your circle. Okay, and that almost, and let's see, and then I added another one, another line below here, but that's just mine. You can also, on your last layer, make your dot bigger so it covers up the bottom part here, but that's the basis of your background. You've now created the background for this photo. So once you have your background set up like this, you're going to then have to go grab a stock photo you want to use. Any photo will work because we're going to edit it anyway, so whatever you have on hand is fine. You will have to cut out the background of the photo, obviously, but I'm sure by now you know that because you wouldn't just import a random photo and think, oh hey, I'll just cut it out. Nah. Now, as you'll notice on mine, I have a mask layer. I just did that because I wanted to feather out the parts that I couldn't really cut out properly, but you won't need to do that unless you want to. I mean, some photos you use you won't need to, but others you will. So I'm using obviously a photo of Demi Lovato because it is, however, her inspired tutorial, so I figured, why the heck not? It's only fair. Alright, once you've pasted on your lovely lady, or girl, or guy, or whatever photo you're using, you're going to then need to add a bunch of adjustment layers, and these need to be a clipping mask to the actual, clipped right to the actual stock photo you've used. So I'm using a color balance, and the color balance needs to be, I'm going to say these, I don't know how it's going to work for every photo. I think every photo will have a different outcome, but you want to have a purplish bluish hue. So let me just go and make this visible so you can see what I'm talking about. You want it to be kind of like this. A dark purple blue color. Depending on the skin tone you already have on your image, it may look different than mine. So I'm not going to exactly show you my numbers because they may be different for you. I mean, if you typed in my numbers, you might get a whole different hue, and it might look ridiculous on your image. I don't know. But from trial and error, I've tried, and it does look a bit different on different images I've used. I think it's just skin tone. You know, if someone's, you know, darker than others, someone's lighter than others, it might look different. So, that's my midtones, these are my highlights, and this was my shadows. I mean, you can try my numbers that I've used, but, they may not look good for you, but just play around with it and see what looks good to you. Alright, and make sure this little paint bucket here, the clipping mask, is selected, so that way it only goes on to the girl layer and nothing else, just that. Okay, once you have your color balance done, add a hue and saturation adjustment layer above that. And this one, you're going to have to also clip mask down below because you don't want to have anything else but that. And I've only adjusted the hue and lightness of this. I use -15 for my lightness and -25 for my hue. And again, if this looks really weird to you, you can adjust this to your settings as you like. But I'm just letting you know what I've used, so in case you want to try that, you can. Alright, let's continue with another adjustment layer. This is going to be brightness and contrast. So we're going to double click this. I've used -45 for my brightness and 19 for my contrast. And that gives us the darkest blue color you see in her actual Neon Lights album cover with her face. That's what we want to see. Something like this. So once you have your image quite like that, you're almost done. But not quite. Where's the water? Oh, I'm glad you asked. Let's add our water. So go ahead and find a stock photo of your water. And you'll see I have a layer here, 16. We'll get to that after the water. So make your, find a water stock photo you want to use and cut it out, and then you're going to have to actually mask out part of it. The thing is, you want to kind of feather it into the photo, essentially. So once you've feathered your lovely water stock into it, and be sure that this is above your lady layer so that it looks as if she's in the water, kind of, sort of. So, yeah. Okay, once you've done that, now I've added another layer. You may not need to do this, I don't know, but I did this for personal preference. I took a bluish brush, soft round brush, and I brushed over her face and body just to give it more of a glow. And I changed the opacity down to 56% and the blend modes at hue. You may not need to do that, I don't know. I just did that because I thought it looked pretty cool. But if you don't want to do that, perfectly fine. That was an optional layer. Alright, now, the water really doesn't look too... It looks kind of way not really well with the photo. So I had to edit that quite a bit. So I added a gradient map, and as you'll notice, I used a clipping mask because I only want that color to go on to the water, not the girl or the background, just the water. I chose a blue and purple hue. You could use any blue and purple hue, any purple and blue hue you like. Depends on what color your water stock is. It'll depend on what you use. So I'm not going to show you my numbers because, again, that will be different for you. Alright, click OK. And you're going to want to set that layer, your gradient map, to hue. And your opacity at 50%. You may have to go a bit lower or higher depending upon how bright your water stock is. That's also going to come into play. Alright, and then above that, I added another bunch of layers. And I added some more purple color to the water. I just took a soft round brush and brushed on some purple. And I changed that layer's blend mode to color and the opacity at 40%. And then again, on the left side, I added some more purple color. And this I put at 74% for the opacity and the blend mode at color again. And this is the results I got for that. And that looks more blended in with my photo and looks really awesome. So I like that. Alright, now you'll notice right here in the dead center, there's still some kind of blue. We're going to fix that. Hold your buttons. Okay, so grab a soft round brush, make a new layer above that, and you're going to make it a really bright, I want to say white, but not really a white, more of a purple white color. And you're going to place it right in the center. And this one's going to be set to screen, and you'll get that kind of a look. And that's really awesome. Because as you'll notice in her actual Neon Lights album cover, there's like a little like brightness, like shadow over the water. And that's kind of where that kind of came from. And that's how you make the album kind of cover. But now, I'm going to take things a whole nother left turn, whole step forward. It looks to me kind of plain Jane. I mean, that's how she made her album cover, obviously, something like this. But I wanted to go a step further and add some more effects to it. So I made a new layer. I'm going to make a new layer below everything, but not, yeah, right below the girl layer. I'm going to make a new layer, and I found these brushes in my Photoshop. I'm not sure where they came from. They were on my computer, so I'm not really sure where to get them from. But you know what? I'll be nice and leave you a link in the description box below to download them in case you want to use them. And these are like sparkly, glittery brushes that randomly popped up on my computer. So, hey, I'll be nice and share. And I'm taking a white brush, by the way. Oops. Take a white brush. I'm just going to paste some somewhere random. Let's see. Yeah. Got some of that going on. Some of that. And some of this. Alright, something kind of like that-ish. Sort of. Yeah. Anyway, something like that. And I kind of like that, but it really sticks out too much. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and overlay that, because if you overlay it, it'll then turn kind of purple. Look at that. But then again, it does look too blended in. So in that case, duplicate that layer. Ooh, now we're talking. But still, it's a bit too bright. So what you can do in that instantation is you can go ahead and alter the opacity down to like 60% or 55. Yeah, I like that. Pretty cool. Now is where the text comes in. You're probably thinking, well, where's the text? Hold your bones. Alright. Now, there actually is a font called Neon Lights. I'm not going to lie to you. I found it on the internet on 101fonts.com or something like that. Anyway, I'll provide the link below for you to download. I'm not going to leave it hanging. So, and yes, I'm going to, and by the way, this font needs to be all in capitals in order for it to come on. Oopsie. Yeah. So make sure you're using capitals. And, oh yeah. well, there you have it. That is a tutorial. That's how awesome it can be. It couldn't be more simpler than that. If you have any more techniques you want to add to it, go right ahead. I'm cool with that. Whatever. If you want to share your outcome and whatnot, you can hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, whatever. I love seeing your creations. You guys are awesome. So have a fabulous week, and I will see you next Wednesday with a beginner's tutorial, and then next Saturday with a regular tutorial like normal. Bye!